Now our great speaker, our partner, who all of these bills we've mentioned.
We hear all the noise out there. We know there are those who focus more on seeking power than securing the future, than securing the future.
We still support the one China policy. We go there to acknowledge the status quo is what our policy is. There was nothing disruptive about that. It was only about saying China is one of the freest societies in the world. Don't take it from me. That's from Freedom House.
Let's talk a little bit.
Democracy, courageous people, and it's just, I don't know why it is, except there's some commercial interest who would like to diminish the relationship.
75% of Democrats say they would like to see another Democratic nominee for president in 2024. You know, and we've seen this in businesses. You know, thank you very much for your service. Here's the gold watch. Enjoy your retirement.
Detroit's making some really hot vehicles. They even got a Hummer that can go 4.1, 0 to 60. That's faster than my Corvette. Now, my Corvette's older than I am almost. But what I realize is that my Corvette's now worth a hell of a lot more than when I bought it. I got it original, $5,700. They tell me it's worth a lot of money. But I know if I ever sell it, Bo will come down from heaven and smite me down. But at any rate. And by the way, that new Corvette, that's electric Corvette, I got a commitment that I don't think I'm going to be able to enforce, that I get to buy the first one. Because it's going to be out before I'm out of office. So, but at any rate.
We've heard a lot about the Presidential Records Act now, and have for quite some time. If this becomes a Presidential Records Act violation, not more, do you think it is enough to warrant all of this?
No, it's not enough to warrant all this. And this is a daring and dangerous move by the Department of Justice to serve a warrant on a former president and to raid his personal residence.
They get it. People back home get it. And you're not going to convince them that any of this stuff here is any good for them. And it's happening, frankly, guys, because the modern Democratic Party, listen, I live in South Florida. It's a majority Democratic county. I've had Democrat friends. I've worked with liberals my whole life. I've done a bunch of bipartisan stuff here. Not bad people. But the modern Democratic Party does not care about working Americans. The only thing they care about is the agenda of a bunch of laptop liberals and Marxist misfits who threaten to burn down any city anytime they don't get their way on some issue, and a bunch of climate extremists. And that's what this bill reflects, at least two of those three. And that's what this bill does. That's the only people they cater to. That's what their issues are always about. And what they do is they put on the disguise of calling it the Inflation Reduction Act, but they can't even say it with a straight face. They really can't, because they know it's not true. This bill has nothing to do with what real people in the real world are worried about every single day. And the ironies are so thick. You know, I think about this carried interest loophole, as they call it. We've got prominent members of the Democratic Party in the Senate who have made a career out of calling that basically an unfair and immoral benefit for hedge fund managers and greedy billionaires. They've made a career out of it. Yet today they will vote on a bill that's stripped out, taking rid of that loophole. They'll vote for it. That's the irony embedded in all of this. They'd like you to secure our border just a little bit. Don't pretend that you're doing anything about it, because they know the truth. Guys, it's a scam. This very weekend, this very Friday, and I live in Miami. I don't read about this stuff in a magazine, okay? I see it with my own eyes. I hear it with my own ears. I had this couple telling me the flat-out story, okay? Their kids were already here because their kids were born here years ago when they were here visiting. Their kids were born here, U.S. citizens. Their kids are already here. This couple paid $5,000 each. They were driven to the border in a van. They were turned over to an agency right on the border who turned them over to the officers. They spent a day and a half in detention. Their papers were filled out. They were turned back over to the agency. The agency asked them, where would you like to go? I would like to go to Miami. They gave them a ticket to go to Miami. They even gave them a little card to buy things before they got there. And now they're living in South Florida. And what do you think? You don't think they're going to call back home and tell people, hey, we made it, and here's how we made it? And those are the people that can afford to buy the $5,000 each or save it. A lot of people can't. So they have to turn themselves over into the hands of these, and they're coming because we are inviting them to come. This administration is inviting them to come. They're inviting them to come. When you tell people, don't come, but if you do, you're going to get to stay, they're going to come. And that's what's happening. We're not focused on that.